I really thank to Ivy to give an opportunity to uh, present my view on the interview skills. Okay, what are the uh, cracking codes for analytics interview? So I would rather tell you that any interview, and yeah, I'll discuss about some of the tips and some of my knowledge or experience about how to crack any interview, maybe in general, as well as what are the different specific need for an analytics interview. So this will be an interactive session mainly, because this is not where you present something, right? You show slide and then you go ahead and consume all those slides and go by that rule. So there is no rule in any interview. There are different rules, right? It totally depend on the interviewer, right? What they really expect, and as well as the role that you are applying for, or you are going to apply maybe. Okay. uh, so before I'll start specific to the analytics interview or something, I want to start with the interview, right? What is when someone actually, any company, any organization uh, wants a candidate, right, for their any open position, what they really look for. uh, so they look for three things particularly. I'll request everyone to take a note of it, of some of the things, because a very crisp note, just a pointers maybe. The reason behind that is, once you get those points, you can go ahead, search in Google, and you can uh, read all those things, you can understand all those things, even you can discuss with many other guys that what you need to tell during the interview on each of these points, so that you can come out as a winner. Okay. So first important thing that they look for, any company look for three things. One is the skill, knowledge, or education, or something like this, and then they look for motivation, and then they look for the right fit for their organization, their team. So three things they look for, again: skill, motivation, and fit. So skill is includes many things. So what is a what do you mean by skill? So skill is like, yeah, the horizon is very vast. Okay. So skill can be your technical skill, skill can be your communication skill, skill can be your interpersonal skill. Okay, skill can be how you handle the present situation, and skill can be your education, and all these things. So yeah, they really look for that, whether your skill is matching as per their requirement or not. So you have to very sure about, when you go for any interview, right? You have to understand your strong points. Okay, where you are strong, where you can show your skill, whether the whatever skill you have, what is you really can fit it with their requirement or not. So I understand that not everyone will know everything, right? You, it might be possible that they are looking for SQL, but you don't know SQL a lot. Okay, then that job is not for you. First you try to understand this. So not every analytics job is for you. You need to understand this thing first, and then you need to target it, right? Where you have to. So for law of average, you should go for all interview, you should apply for any job. Okay, if you are open for any kind of job, open for any job. But when you specifically looking for some role, you have to, you have to have a choice, that this is where I have to put my energy. Fine. So your skill requirement is very important, and this is related to your resume details. I'll come to that resume details later on. Okay, this is I'm now talking about from the perspective of the employers. I'll talk about how you need to really go through each of your, how we can fit all this requirement uh, with your CV, right, with your resume that you are writing. Fine. Second is the motivation. This is one of the most important part. So motivation is very, very important. For an example, a company requires a candidate who knows everything about SaaS, but that the shift is for US, right? So US shift is between maybe it will start at 12 or it will start at 10 and at 4 or maybe later on. So do you have that motivation to work in that kind of shift or not? So this is a very uh, biggest motivational factor I'm talking about, but there are some small motivational factor they really think about it. So if you are going for a SaaS analytics role, maybe, so you have a very kind of rosy picture that you will go there, you will create a lot of analytics, you will create a lot of modeling, you'll dig into the data, you'll do modeling, and you'll come up with some amazing analysis, and there will be a wow factor. So if you are really looking for this, so there is no job like this. So first of all, you have to do a lot of dirty work in the sense you have to do a lot of cleansing work, you have to dig into the data, you have to understand that data, and every organization have this kind of thing, each and every organization. So they will see that whether you have that motivation to do or not, whether you have motivation to learn something new or not. You are working on SaaS, they want something, so some guy who knows R, fine, but your statistical background is really very solid, so they might take you. They don't, they're a very small company and they don't have SaaS license, they might take you because your statistical uh, mm, uh, base is very good, but you have to work on R. So they will look that whether you are ready to learn R or not. That kind of motivation they will really see. Whether some company need you need to work for long hours, they'll check those things. So this motivation factor is very, very important. The third thing they really see that fit. So whether you are the right fit for that organization or not. For an example, an organization having all the employees are above 45, very good organization maybe, and all their employees are above 45. I'm not talking about any discrimination over here. No company does any kind of discrimination, fine. But when you are going there and you are giving the interview and your age is 30 and someone other who is giving interviewer, his age is around 40, and both of this are same with their skill and motivation, they might go for the age of 40. So fit is very important. This is a very utopian, this is a very different scenario that I have talked about. There is no organization where only employees are above 45 or something. So they, what they really look for, they look for like-minded people, that whether you can work with them or not, what kind of attitude that you have. Okay. uh, so I'll give you one example. In one of the company, the employer recruited a guy who is very good at stat, he is good at he is MS, I believe, or he has done some masters in statistics or something. So he is very good in skill and he was very good in SAS also. But the problem with him was the motivation, that he doesn't want to work on the data. He doesn't want to work on data cleansing part. He only wants the data to be prepared and to be given to him. He'll run the statistical model and he'll tell. Even he doesn't want to go for business communication. I mean the communication with the partner or to the end goals, right? So what happens in that kind of scenario? There is a very big gap in motivation, that he doesn't want to do this because he thinks that he's beyond that. Second is the fit. This guy is from some other part of the India, and this guy doesn't really mingle with others. He wants to work in silos. That's the problem. If he wants to work in silos in this kind of organization, the project that these guys were running, okay, was not they don't, they need very a lot of team collaboration. There are many teams that this guy needs to help, and if he wants to work in silos, then it is very, very tough for the organization. So this kind of fit they really look for, and they will throw some questions right? To understand that whether you are a right fit or not. So how to tackle all these things? I'll tell you about one, two, three. So these are the three things. How you gonna tackle all these things, right? So now let's come down to this is for any analytics, no, not any analytics interview, any interview. If, is it a sales interview? Is it a interview for a receptionist? Is it an interview of anything? They look for this three things. Now let's come down to analytics part. Hope everyone is clear about these three things: skill, motivation, and fit. I want to pause for a maybe a second, and I really want you guys to ask me question regarding this, because this is the three things is what you need to understand, and then we'll go ahead and talk about analytics interview and all the other details. You can ask one two questions, right? Very, if you feel it is relevant, and if you are not able to understand what I'm saying, you can go ahead and ask. So we will have 3-4 minutes for question and answer, and then again we'll go ahead and explain all other things.
Samit, can you hear me, Samit?
Yeah.
So, Samit, this is Prateek. I
Yeah,
wanted
hi
to
Pratik.
ask, a lot of students ask one thing that, okay, say, for example, I do not have the requisite, or I am not from the premier college, I mean, one of the top-notch colleges. So, does it fit into the skill part that you spoke about in the first thing?
Sometimes and sometimes not. Generally, frankly speaking, Pratik, nowadays the the scarcity. So we need a lot of data scientists. We need a lot of analytics guys. Okay. So, and everyone, whoever wants to be in analytics professional, right? They want to build their skill, other skill more rather than the, because they cannot change their education skill. So there are companies who all are only looking for this kind of guys. So for an example, if I talk about Facebook, okay, if I talk about Google, they really look for someone with the IM background or IIT background, and obviously the salary they offer is huge, 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 50 lakhs even. So the, here we have a lot of companies, and this educational background really doesn't matter a lot. The only thing that will matter is whether you gonna place yourself properly or not. So I would obviously will tell that no, it is really doesn't matter, but maybe out of 20 interview, 20 opening, an engineer might get 15 calls, IM might get, or MBA from good institute might get 20 calls. But if you are not an engineer or not an economics background, or not so very, you are thinking about that you don't have very good educational background, at least from 10 you will get some call, and there you need to prove that you are better than all these guys.
So there, that guy should focus on what? Because knowledge part, I mean, the skill part in terms of education, academics is probably not that important. Then what would you recommend him to focus upon then?
Yeah, you cannot change that part, right? That's the first thing. Wait a minute.
Yeah. So
A lot of disturbance. Okay. Yeah, tell me. Tell me.
yeah. So I know you can't change that. So then, what would you recommend him to focus
So
then?
I recommend them to focus on their skill part, in the sense the other skill part. So if you are going for analytics role, right? If you are running for analytics position, so what good analytics professional needs, that they need to understand. They need good understanding of the data. What I will tell, so I'm coming to those. I'll come to those points where they need to focus, where the skill, what are the different skills that they are looking
Okay.
for. I'll touch upon this point. Again, the education, I don't care about the education if someone can do some work for me, right? So I'll point out something. So education is the first filter there that you might get. If you have got a call, that means your education, you have crossed that filter, right? Cross that hurdle. So other skill I'll talk one by one. I have many points on different skill set, right? The analytics world really looking for right this moment. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
fit?
Can you explain the fit point? I mean the third point.
Yeah,
Kamal.
yeah. So fit point again. Fit point is something they think that whether you are really a fitment for that particular job or not. Okay, you have the skill, you have the motivation, but you are not a team player. You want to work alone, then you are not a fit. Again, there is you have the skill, you have the motivation, but you require a lot of kind of you have to handle a lot of things by your own. You will not get a lot of help from any other one. You have to do a lot of research by your own and not come up with something else, something good for them. They'll check that whether that kind of ability you have or not. That goes to the personality check, right? I'll come to those points again. The personality check that they will check. Okay, what kind of person you are. There is a psychometric test that you have to go for, maybe or maybe not. Otherwise, in an interview, they'll ask some questions by which they will be able to understand. Fine, they'll ask you about your strong point. From there, they'll be able to understand that whether you're right fit or not. Your low point, right? The highlights and lowlights they'll ask. From there, they'll be able to understand. Fit is nothing but you are fit for the job or they are going to the government, right? So the position which is open, you are fit for that kind of job. So you are in Calcutta, you have to move to Pune, and once you move to Pune, you might feel homesick. This is nothing to do with your skill and motivation. You might feel homesick. Okay, that is the fit. You are not fit for that job. You cannot concentrate, right?
Okay.
Okay, fine. So let's go ahead and I'll touch upon a few things. Okay, and I have gone through a lot of interviews. I have taken many interviews, and what are the different things that I recommend you to do to improve your skill. Motivation is that motivation point I'll talk, and again fit point also I'll talk. So the skill point, so Pratik asked me about the skill other than the education background. So what you need to do. So I will suggest you guys to do a lot of quantitative reasoning kind of thing. Right? You go ahead and buy some book maybe for CAT, right? Some Agarwal or some book is there. Do quantitative from there, right? Practice a lot of quantitative method maybe. You can try a lot of so you have MAT, you have CAT, both these things are there. So from both these things you can go ahead and do quantitative reasoning and deductive reasoning. So these two are important. Okay, so for quantitative ability test you have to prepare yourself for some time. Maybe you have to give 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, and all this time. For an example, if something comes, we do a lot of mistake. This sound is very disturbing. Wait a minute, let me just reduce the volume. Please ping me if you need to ask me anything, because I really get to. Yeah. So the quantitative is one that if I they can ask a question of percentage. They might ask a question of velocity. They might ask a question of time, hour, and all these questions. So you have to practice all these things. This is important, right? And they really want to see that it is not about that SAS, SQL, all these things, Excel. They also check that whether you have cognitive ability to do this job or not. So most of the companies you have to go through this, right? So that's my first suggestion. Second is the deductive. Deductive means the reasoning. Reasoning in the sense, if this is blue, if three things is blue and this thing is red, what will be the black and something like this. Okay, if A is greater than B, B is greater than C, this kind of reasoning you have to practice. You guys can note down all this, whatever question in your mind. Okay, I'll go through this point. Whatever question in your mind, you can write it down, and then you can ask later on. So first, quantitative and deductive preparation. Deductive in the sense the reasoning. Second will be the Excel. You have to be very good in Excel. That most important part. They see that whether you are good in Excel, because in many cases what I have seen, that quantitative ability they test through Excel. So they will give you some Excel test and you have to pass that Excel test. In some of the scenario you have to practice a little bit of SQL also. A very simple SQL, but you have to practice that SQL. SAS is surely you guys will be good in SAS. So I'm not going in that area. But SQL, try to understand some of the SQL things. Okay. It is not about how to get top 10 rows or something. You try to understand some subqueries, try to understand join, how join happens. This kind of questions that they might ask. But this is very rare. SQL I have seen very rare. But why would you take any chance? Right? So out of 10 interviews that you face, in 2 or 3 interviews they might ask you. And Excel or quantitative or this, they will ask in any which way, some other way they will ask. Even if they don't have a direct question of quantitative, deductive or something, then they'll ask you some case studies and all. Fine. Then so this skill part will come under that. Then you have to go for this personal thing, right? Personal in the sense, this motivation and motivational part will come under that personal. You have to be ready with lot of questions, lot of answers of some specific questions, and you have to be very street smart during answering those questions. Like, what do you want to be in next 5 years? Okay, these are the very simple, easy question that they will ask, and the answer. If I'll ask this question to 100 guys, I'll get 100 answers, and from there I have to take the best. And so, be very focus on this. Be very crisp. What do you want to say? They might ask you to tell me something about yourself which is not written in your CV. So you have to be very particular about it. Tell me about your strong points. Tell me about your weak points. Okay. Generally, when you talk about the weak points, you say, no, I don't have any weak point. I'm totally strong guy. Okay. So be prepared for this. This is very important. This person, we have rejected so many guys because of this. They failed in this person. They have skill, but they skill in the sense, if I give him something, he'll do it. But their personality was not really going with our requirement. Fine, this is important. The fit questions will also come from this personality questions. I will give you, so they will ask you that, so for an example, I'll give you. One guy, actually, we have given an Excel test for him, and we have sent this Excel test to mail, and we have asked this guy that please send it back within this time, within, so we have sent it at 4, and we asked that please send it back within 4:30. This guy sent it back on 4:35. Fine. And then we asked you to send it on 4:30. You send it at 4:35. So you miss the deadline. How do you explain it? He said, that's fine. I was writing my answer, so I have done everything. He did really well. He and his score was more than 80%. But how casually he really reacted to that backfired, and we didn't go further. Okay, he said that, okay, 5 minutes, how does it matter 5 minutes, right? I was just typing my answers on a mail and I was sending. Okay, though it was not so bluntly however the way I am telling, but his words were like that, right? So 5 minutes, I think that I thought that 5 minutes will be fine, so I have taken that for granted. So this is the kind of thing that you need to be very very careful, and this is where you have to, I'll suggest you guys to go through some Google search, some Google personality test, or how to handle this, right? And understand, create your structure, what you gonna say. Some of the, there'll be find, you will find there are 30 personality questions you will have in Google search. You'll find everything, right? And I'll tell you that go for each question, write down that question, write down the answer, what you gonna talk. Don't memorize that, but whatever is coming in your mind, you write down that. If you see that where is the problem, if I tell you this, right, in the interview panel, they might be offended, or whether they will take it as good answers or not. Analyze that. Fine. The fourth part, so three part I've talked about, three things I've talked about: quantitative and reasoning that you need to practice, Excel SQL you need to practice, personality question you need to really go for it, right? You have to note down all the personality questions, and you need to prepare yourself according to that. Third is the resume details. Be very careful about whenever you are writing something on your resume. I generally, when I take the interview, I go through the resume and I pick some of the things what I feel after sometimes. So I generally don't pick the resume at the beginning. I pick the resume after 20 minutes, and then I start to analyze those, scan the resume and try to understand where these guys have written something which is he has not done, or he doesn't have that skill, he or she doesn't have that skill, and then I start asking those questions, and they falter on that. So write only those things in your resume what you can back up. You might have not done those things, maybe you are writing something that you haven't done it, but you have to be ready with your answer that you can back it up. Fifth thing is that a lot of case studies are there, so you can go ahead and do a lot of case studies. A lot of business case studies are there, right, where you need your what do you call, instantly you need to come up with the answer maybe. Okay, and you have to come up with an answer which is really good. So there is nothing wrong or nothing right or wrong in this kind of case studies. Okay, in case studies they again will see your skill, that is interpersonal skill, your skill, how you can adjust with you the team, that fit part will come there, and how you're coming up with the answer, maybe what is your solution to that particular problem. So that case studies you can go and search some small case studies, and then you try to understand the answer of those case studies, and you can prepare yourself, because the case study, whatever the case study you will get, that will not become, they'll give you something, some case study that you have never heard of, but you will be ready with that. Background. So fifth is the case studies, sixth is the background. So this background is important. Background is important in the sense, this should be very very crisp. Whenever you are talking about background, this should be very very crisp. Crisp in the sense, your background, your personal background. Be very crisp about it, right? Don't elaborate that. Some we feel very bored regarding that. My father does this, I have a brother, my wife is doing this. We are not bothered about that. We just want to know how many family member you have, whether you are in nuclear family, in joint family, so you can explain those things. That doesn't matter, but at least you have to be very very crisp, because this is your chance to let interviewer know with some, I'll call in crisp words. Okay, so here no blabbering, that you need to understand. So background is very very important. Again, it comes with your, it doesn't comes with your CV, and this is important. Whenever there is a very common question, say something about you which is not written in your CV, so then the background will fit in there. So that's tell about yourself. So background and tell about yourself is somehow similar. Okay. The seventh part is, sometimes they ask that if you have any questions. At the end of the interview, they'll ask if you have any question. Most of us do, no, I don't have any question. I'm very happy with the interview, and you just give me the job, I'll come and I'll work. That's it. This is, if you say no, which means you are losing chance. Never say no. Be ready with some of the very high level of questions. Like, okay, so I don't know, so you can at the end, thanks for giving the opportunity, right? I'm glad that you have asked this question. So let me ask you one question. So what is the growth opportunity here? What is the learning opportunity over here? How can I add value to myself, and then how will I add value to the company? Okay, after joining, we feel that if we ask this question, then we might they might feel offended. No, they will never. You can ask that what is the growth opportunities. Okay, that's many very common. What is my response? Key areas. What will be my responsibilities? Okay, something like this you can ask. Fine. Last thing that they ask, this is important. Sometimes uh, they ask for your expectation. What is your salary expectation? Generally, if you don't have any specific reason, try to answer as per industry standard. Simple. If they really don't force you to answer something, and if they really force you to answer something, then try to understand what will be your expectation range. Because sometimes it happens that you are very good, your skill, motivation, everything, you are absolutely fit, but the job is for their maximum they can offer is 1 million, I mean 10 lakh, and you said that I want 12 lakh. Is it they will ask, is it negotiable? You'll say no, this is not negotiable. You might say that. Then all other interview process will be stopped there. If you say that, okay, as per industry standard I have not decided that, then at least you will go for the interview, and if you really prove yourself worth enough to get 12 lakhs, then they will give you 12 lakhs maybe later on. But don't at the beginning tell your expectation or something. Okay, and if you really want to tell that expectation, at least do some research, understand the job, and then understand, you can talk to others and ask that what could be the salary of this particular position, and then you can quote it. And so that's it. And the last point I would like to mention, that whenever you are going for an interview, we generally don't go through each of the points. I mean, so in an opening you will go there, there will be some responsibilities written, and out of that responsibility, if there are 10 responsibility, if you can serve 6 responsibility or 7 even 5 responsibility, that is fine. But you have to go through it, and maybe you have to prepare your CV according to that. I know that is a very tough thing to do, because every time for every job you'll go ahead and prepare your CV, then upload it, then send it. But my suggestion is that if you really want to target a particular job, do it. Okay, because that will give the confidence to the interviewer, as well as when you are in an interview, you will understand that what kind of answer that you need to give for a particular question, right? So that's important. So go through the requirement, go through what they really want, and prepare yourself according to that. So this is what I understand, and what is my bit, my experience regarding the interview that I have given, I have taken, right? So hopefully you guys have taken some note. If you want, I can again repeat those. So one, skill, motivation, fit for any interview. Second, for analytics interview, or some of these are also go with any kind of interview. Quantitative and reasoning. First point, Excel, SQL, little bit of SAS that you know. The personality test. Okay. Resume details. Okay, case study, some background, and tell about yourself. Prepare for that. If you have any question, this kind of question has been asked. If do you have so your interview will ask that, okay, I am done with my questions, do you have any questions? Prepare for that. Industry standard, so I mean the salary part, and the last point is that go through the job requirement properly. Fine. And in personality test, I would ask you, give some psychometric test. Okay, in psychometric test, what is the psychometric test? You have to answer depend on your intuition. There will be 100 of questions, you have to answer within maybe 20 minutes, and they will check that whether you have a parity regarding all the answers or not. So go ahead, check those psychometric tests. That is also another way of checking the personality, checking the fit, motivation, and all. Fine.
Some questions are here, Samit.
Yeah.
Hi, Sumit. This is Anik actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, but I had not attended your presentation from the beginning where we were covered these points.
Yeah.
Actually, how important is background verification from the previous employer when you're looking for a job? I mean, do employers verify background your employment record and everything like that when you check everything?
This is a very tricky question, and this is very ethical questions. So, yeah. Ethically, I'll tell that you have to be, whatever you are writing on your CV, that has to be true. I can't hear anything.
Why is there background noise?
Too much. I can't even hear. Now I can't even hear myself.
I'm surprised we don't even have any background noise at all. Everything is there. Let me mute everyone else. Give me 1 second. Huh?
Yeah, now it is.
Now is it better?
A little bit.
Some of the participants have Yeah. So you were talking about Samit. Samit?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, you were saying something.
Yeah. Can you write your question on the window so that chat?
Sure, I can.
Yeah. So can you write so it is better, because otherwise I'm not able to.
I can do that. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So background. First of all, I just ethically I'll tell that whatever you are writing in your CV, that background is important. People do check background. Companies do check background. So be very specific about it. Please. So if you give some wrong information, you get the job, and after 2 months you'll be sacked. That might happen. Right? Okay, so Ayan, yeah, VBA skill is required in many situations. VBA skill is required because on entry kind of analytics job, you need a lot of you need Excel like you need skill like Excel. Okay? In that kind of scenario, they will really see that how you can generate the reports. Okay, and reports, automation of the reports and all these things. So there it is very important. So obviously VBA skill is also required, but not at the very, if you are gunning for some job more than 8 lakh or something, it is not very much required, very much valued. But at least for reporting kind of job in analytics, a lot of jobs are like reporting, and reporting kind of job, it is important. Yeah, Sneha, please, you were asking something.
Actually, I have a background of 2 years in marketing field. Yeah, is there any problem if I give it in my CV and tell that, because there is no link with analytics field? I have a marketing background of 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be treated as freshers in this field. So
No, it is not like that. Marketing background, if you have the marketing background, which means your domain, you are ready with the marketing domain. Fine. Sales and market, you are ready with the sales and marketing domain, right?
actually, I'm
So why
from
would you?
sales and marketing part.
Yeah. So why don't you? write that. Okay, I was also from sales and marketing, right? But try to your right kind of fit with. So you are in which domain? Which sales and marketing in which kind of
Bank
company?
in ICICI Bank.
So that's fine for BFSI and all these things. You go ahead and you try to apply those because they need
Uh,
those.
uh, so, in which field or in which job applications, job requirements I should look for? In which type of?
I would
That's
say that
my.
you look for you apply for all kind of jobs,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You apply for all kinds of job, but it so it is law of average again. You never know who wants what. So
Acha.
go ahead, apply for all kind of job. But when it comes to BFSI or something, be very specific. Try to write your CV in such a way that it should not be stuck somewhere.
Can you tell me once more? Hello.
So go for each end. So there is you can send CV to everyone. That's the first thing. If you get a
Acha.
call, that's good. Why would you hold back? Why you won't send your CV to everyone? But when it comes to sales and marketing and BFSI field, be very specific about your CV. Change your CV. Don't send the generalized CV. Change your CV according to the requirement. Okay, and then you can send it. So your possibilities that you'll get through the first thing, right? That is screening of the CV will be much more higher, right? You'll go to the
Okay.
next level.
Hi,
That means my background will help me in getting jobs.
Yes, obviously, this will help you. That will help
Okay.
you. So it may be possible that you might have to wait for some more time, but you can get it. So look for some reporting role first. Okay. So I'll always tell you guys, whoever having less than 5 years of experience, include some reporting part into it in your CV, that you do reporting. Don't include a lot of analytics part, SAS and all. Obviously, you'll write, but try to include more reporting part into it. So what will happen, they really look for someone who knows SAS and all these things, but you have to do reporting. So if you include this reporting, chances of getting the interview call will be very very high, right?
Okay. Okay. Then I should focus on Excel mode, right? Uh,
Yeah,
Hello.
Excel is very very important. Excel is very very important. SQL a little bit you try, okay, because you are good in SAS, so your proc SQL and SQL are almost same, so practice that.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
This is Owen speaking. Yeah, you had said that for reasonably lower end jobs, VBA is important for
Yes,
reporting. But
yes.
I'm talking about higher end jobs. Which are the skills which are more important?
See, Excel and VBA is one of the things that Excel is must, VBA is good to know.
Okay.
Fine. Your
Yeah.
analysis skill, like the one quantitative skill, deductive skill, those are very very important.
Okay.
Okay, case study, decision making is very very important. SAS is important. If you are going gunning for SAS kind of job, SAS is important. Okay,
So
do
how? Yeah. Please continue.
statistics is more important. So if you
Okay.
are going for a statistical job, I mean the SAS job, statistics is more important. I give I give weightage more. I give weightage to statistics more than SAS, because SAS is code is everywhere available. If you know that how this result will be read,
Yeah.
right, through statistics, that is more important.
How valuable is R, or how much is it valued in the industry? How prevalent is it? R skills.
Our skill is very important nowadays, because there are a lot of companies. So if you have 20 companies, you'll find that almost 15 companies are new, the startups, and they don't have money to buy. They have the money, but they don't invest in SaaS, because they will be able to do everything on R. So R nowadays very important, right? You should go for R. I believe that one part, if you really want to go for. So again, I'm telling you, the statistics part is more important, and below the statistics, R, SAS, SPSS, all this thing comes. If you know statistics, they know you can do R. So R coding is important.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
R coding is important because R is having some complex code, not like SAS. So R coding is important, SAS is important, but again at the top is statistics. Whether you know statistics, if someone actually asks you about the outlier treatment, leveraging treatment, all these things, someone actually asks about the goodness of fit. Someone actually asks about the case of logistic regression. Okay, and if you so you have to answer those questions, right?
So I have a query which I wanted to clarify. Means, is there any myth or is there any practice in the industry like I hear that the startups use more of R, and I've even talked to people who are into startups and who are recruiting people. They say that we use R, we don't use SAS. So is it that the companies who use R they pay less, or people
No,
who
no,
are
no, 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 no. Even ulta, they pay more.
okay? So
Okay,
I've heard that Google and Facebook, this kind of companies, they work in R.
no, no, no. It is so, yeah. Google and Facebook use R, but it doesn't mean that they don't use SAS. R is again a very skillful thing that you can use, right?
Okay.
Google, Facebook, and all these companies use R,
Yeah.
but what for what they are using it, that is important, because in R you can write a lot of codes.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, and they can tweak the code, they can use their code according to their ways. That's the reason they are using it. Okay, for them getting a SAS license is very easy. So there
Yeah.
are some few things in SAS is very easy to do. There are something in SAS it is easier than SAS. Sorry, so few things in R is easier than SAS. So you'll use R. So a company like Google, they will have SAS, they will have Statistica, they will have R, and they will use it accordingly wherever it is. But a company, very startup companies, they don't want to spend money on SAS license. Okay, because in SAS you cannot do decision tree without E minor. In E minor you can do it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
I am not saying that you can't do it. You can do it. We have a lot of codes that you can write and do it. Visually you cannot do it. But in R you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there they need it, and because it is tough, they pay more, not less.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Ayan,
Yeah. Tell me.
for yeah, Ayan, you asked about some question regarding VBA and higher end jobs,
Yeah.
right? So is it fine?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, thanks a lot for your all the clarifications. But
Yeah.
can you tell a bit more about the kind of jobs, kind of work that is done in Facebook, Google, and what they do are, if you can elaborate on that.
In R,
Yes, in Google and Facebook.
I
What
don't
kind
have
of
much
work they
idea.
do using?
I think they are more into
Okay.
developing the algorithm. They don't do a lot of statistical work there. They
Okay.
develop a lot of algorithms so
Which
that
are specific to them. Yeah.
yeah, so that it can maybe text mining algorithm, maybe some ranking algorithm, right? But they have Python, Ruby, and all these things. They use it accordingly. Okay.
And
So it,
what about SQL
Samit,
Server?
yeah.
Knowledge of SQL
Samit,
Server? Hello? Uh, Knowledge of SQL Server. SQL is used in what kind of platforms? Is it which platform is
I'll
used?
take yeah, Ayan, I'll take your question. Let me take others questions.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
and then I believe it will be more.
Samit,
Maybe yeah,
couple of
yeah,
couple of questions from the class here.
yeah, yeah.
One question was,
Hi, Samit, Vivek here.
Hi Vivek.
Regarding that, I have been in 5 years in different finance domain. So,
Okay.
is my coming to my in analytics would be better?
Uh, First of all, better or not depends on you. What do you really want to? So what do you enjoy? That is more important, right? Do you enjoy data part? Okay. Do you enjoy playing with the data? If yes, go for it. Do you enjoy more on accounting, more on finance domain, finance methodologies? Then go for finance. So better or not is relative. Someone really enjoy marketing, okay, and really doesn't enjoy data, they should stick to marketing. Okay, Dev, you certainly have a good uh, Okay, you certainly have a good future in analytics or not, you're asking. Okay. Anyway, I'll say that they have a right kind of candidate for analytics role. Just you need to focus on some of the things that whatever you have done in market research field and all. Okay, because you will have lot of data in your hand. If you haven't worked on analyzing those data, give some time, analyze those data, try to understand, try to fit your SAS code into it, maybe some SQL also. You can try proc SQL in SAS, and then write your CV according to that, and target any job. Oh, SPSS is fine, right? If you know SPSS, you can use SAS. What's the big deal in it? Fine. So who will come to you and ask, okay, the organization that you are working, you do only have SPSS. How can you write that you have SAS? You worked on SAS, right? It is not like that. You can always tell that, okay, I worked on SAS. My company has SAS also, right? And you have a right kind of background. Means you can get any job if you can. If you can get calls from anywhere if you write your CV properly. Just you need to specify that whatever you have done is had an analytical bend of mind. Fine.